I wanna hear your thoughts. I wanna hear your sound. And mama always told me to shout and speak my mind out loud. Come on and talk when you got the time. Freedom, want you on the line. We wanna hear from you. You got it going. Let your voice shine. Platform yours is not just mine. We wanna hear from you. You got it going. Talk to me. Talk to me. Talk to me. Talk to me. You're gonna shine. Talk to me. Talk to me. Talk to me. Talk to me. You're gonna shine. Hey y'all, what's up? It's your boy Douglas, or you can call me Freedom. Welcome to my channel. Before we start this video, make sure that you guys like this video, comment below this video, share this video, and subscribe to my channel because you need me. As I am filming this, the cars are going crazy outside. So please, as I say always, forgive my background and forgive my brother. I want to first start off by saying shout out to you guys. Thank you guys so much for the love that you guys have been giving my two singles, unreleased, that I put out on YouTube, Cinnamon Girl Remix, and Bebe's Freestyle Part 2. These are lead singles from my upcoming mixtape that I have coming out very soon called Freedom Savage The Mixtape. This is my first body of work, and I am so proud of it. It's a very vulnerable project. The project serves as a diary entry for what I'm currently going through in my life right now, how I'm feeling emotionally on top of grieving my mom. It's a side of me that I actually haven't let out to anyone, only my therapist. Therapy actually encouraged me to share this project with the world. You can listen to the project on YouTube, as everything will be curated in a playlist. And if you guys want to stream it without having to use YouTube, you can find my music for this project on my mixtapes. Both links will be in the description below. And if y'all haven't checked out my two singles yet, go ahead and check it out. Without further ado, we should get started. Hey you guys, we are in our first segment, Freedom of Speech. I have some awesome guests with me today and some familiar faces. I'm going to let everyone introduce themselves.
My name is Mecca, pronouns she, her. I'm a mom, I'm 26, I'm in school. I guess you could say I'm a bit of a nerd. I'm like a little geek. I love school, so this is like my third time going to school. So, yeah. I'm Makita, but you can call me Kita. 24, well, I'll be 24 in April. I'm in school right now because I love helping people. I've always wanted to be a nurse. Like, we were a kid and everybody was like, I want to be a singer, I want to be a rock star. I've always said I want to be a nurse or some type of medical field. So my pronouns are she, her. You can follow me on Instagram at its.kita with 3 A's. So it's its.kedaa. My Instagram is at m.molly with 4 Y's.
Hi, it's me again. I'm Suki, his favorite sister.
Wow. Okay. Just coming out the gate swinging, guys.
Okay, I'm both of their favorite sister. My pronouns are she, her, they, them. I'm just joking. Well, sometimes I like to be a they, but anyway, y'all can follow me at _bigbody
Our first topic will be a topic that has definitely taken the internet by storm in the last month. For those of you guys who don't know, a woman by the name of Risa Tisa, she did a 50, well, it was technically 52 videos in total, but she did a 50-part story on TikTok detailing a horrible experience that she had with her now ex-husband. Her story has caused so much discussion on social media around just relationships and who we choose to partake in relationships with. I wanted to first get your overall thoughts on what she had to say about her story if you guys watched it. Overall reactions, overall impressions. Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Douglas here. We will be discussing Risa Tisa's story in detail. So if you haven't watched it, there will be spoilers. Feel free to stop the podcast, finish her story, and then come back to the podcast, or you can go to the next segment since there will be timestamps with this video. And y'all can come back to this segment once you guys finish the story if you guys want to do it that way. Okay, enjoy.
I didn't really watch it. It was kind of long, a little bit too long for me. I feel though, honestly, at her big age, she should have known better. Everybody can make mistakes. We all do it. As women, we all go through these things. You live and you learn. For her to keep going after she's seen everything out on the table and to keep going, it's like you got what you deserve.
Yeah, I didn't watch it, so I'm going off your take of it here, but I think I did see a comment with somebody saying something similar, like at this big age, something like that, like how you didn't see, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't watch it. I scrolled past her video, and then when I saw like the clip of it on Instagram, I was like, oh, I was listening to that, and I just flew past it because I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you saying? But I don't know. It's like everybody has all these questions. The questions are like, what happened to his leg? How did you not know? What was he doing with the money? Did he use his real social security number on the marriage certificate? So it's just bringing to my head, like, what was this lady going through? And when people bring out these outrageous stories, like, my husband did this, and it was a whole crazy story, I'm just like Soupy said, at what point did you not say enough is enough? Like, you went through all of those things. At a certain point of outrageous behavior, it's time to pack up. It's, you know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, I didn't watch it, so I don't have all the facts, but just as a general thing, you're telling this story in 52 videos. Girl. I don't know. Now I'm definitely gonna have to watch it. Maybe we could do like an aftermath.
The only reason why I want to watch it though is because you said something about his leg, and I didn't know anything happened to his leg.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest, I didn't watch it either. But I had a friend that did watch it, and when she was watching it, I was at her house actually, and she was so invested in it. First of all, one thing about her, she like, if it's interesting, like, I guess it was just interesting to her. The part that she was at that I watched, you watched it.
I watched the whole thing. I saw the whole thing.
Boom. Let me know if I'm wrong. So the part that she was watching, because like I said, I wasn't watching it with her, but I was listening to it in the background. She was explaining how her husband was a CEO of some type of like condiment factory. And when she asked, like, just one day they were driving and he was like, oh, this is the building I work in. And she was like, oh, like, can we see your office? And he's like, yeah. And the nigga had to call the security or some other person that works in the building and was like, can I use your key because my key for my office doesn't work?
Like, it was going to get him through one area, but not the next, apparently.
Yeah. So I'm like, how are you the CEO and your key can't get you through anywhere in that building? Yeah. It's only one part. Like, how are you the CEO of that entire company and you can't even get throughout your entire building? Like, so that was kind of crazy to me. And then there was another part where he promised her, like, he was gonna buy her like the brand new BMW or some BMW she wanted or some type of fancy car. And the nigga never bought it, right? After promising, like, she never asked for it. You just promised you were gonna get it for me, and then you never got it. But then come to find out, the same model, same car that I want is so-called your business car. And you can never come home with that car, but you got pictures of it because that's the company car. So that's how the story
is? So I was actually going to provide some cliff notes if y'all wanted. Help with the situation. But yeah, everything you said was pretty much accurate as far as the job and car was concerned. Basically, she met a man through a dating app. She called him by his nickname, which was Legion. And that's what she referred to him as throughout the entire telling her story. She claimed that she was desperate for just like some company, and just because it was COVID around this time, Atlanta had just not shut down, but started to go into quarantine. Okay. And she basically, after like a couple of weeks of knowing and meeting this man and talking to him and going on dates with him, basically let him move in. He goaded her into a relationship. She was raised on Christian values. He told her he wanted a wife, and that automatically sent her. So she immediately let him move in and live with her, stay with her. A couple of months in, she's already pregnant. They were discussing moving because she didn't want to have a baby in her part of Atlanta that she was in. It wasn't a hood, but it was a low income area, I guess you could have seen. So she wanted to leave her area. He promised her that he was going to get her a house that she wants, the car that she wants. And even just with the job, it was a pattern of him promising things for her, but something always happened to where it never happened. Something kept going on wrong with the payment. He wasn't willing to put down the down payment the way the policy needed to be. He wanted to do it his own way. But he had all of these bank accounts, including one offshore account, because he was this pro football player in Cali. But he was born in Philly, but grew up in Atlanta, went to Cali where he had got married, was a pro football player, and then he came to be with her, whatever, in Atlanta. His life had resumed in Atlanta. So he had told her that he had all of this money because he was, he had did pro football and all this down the third, and now he's vice president or CEO of this big company. She found him cheating, texting other women. He did hurt his knee. I don't even think she was able to even say it during the story. We don't know what hurt his knee. He had claimed that it was it was an injury from when he was playing football. The thing is, the reason why the story ended up being so shocking was because he lied about everything. He lied about his identity. One, he never been to Cali. Two, he was in and out of jail.
Right.
He was a temp. He was working as a temp at the job, delivering stuff to the factory.
I would say maybe he was the janitor. Like, yeah, you calling your bro saying, bro, let me into the office.
He was talking to himself. Each time he was on the phone, he was talking to himself. He made up his conversations.
So he was never on the phone or what?
Whenever he was talking to his brother, whenever he was talking to his boss, the whole person to let him into the building, whatever, he was never talking to anyone.
His brother actually reached out to her friend who's a lawyer.
Uh-huh.
And he said that Legion is actually schizophrenic. So he honestly believed that he was talking to people and people were.
Wow. Well, I knew they said that he had to be mentally ill because, she kicked him out.
He had to sue her for that.
Because he had lost mad weight around the time she had kicked him out. He wasn't eating while being on this bad knee. And she started to find out so much lies. These bank accounts obviously weren't real. And the accounts that he did show her were just screenshots from Google. So he didn't have anybody. His family, he made up half of his family members. And then he claimed that some of his family members had actually died during COVID when really they had died like 10 years prior. It was just a lie. He lied about everything. And he was still lying. So even when he ended up being homeless, losing all types of weight, he still made it seem like he was going to get a job and how he was still finding his way to money when that really was not the case. So she ended up getting a divorce from him, but it was a lie. He lied about everything. And the phone calls definitely did alarm some people of his mental state. And the constant lying, because it seemed like even when he was caught in the act, he would still lie. And he was so passionate.
Because he truly
telling the
believed
truth.
She didn't really fall in love with him. She just wanted to be loved. She was desperate for love. And she
was in love with the idea of him, a man that would come and sweep up.
Around the time COVID happened, it was a very different, weird, and stressful time for everyone. And this is not to make light of her decision making, because she also stood on the fact that she made poor decisions. I will say that it is kind of crazy that she ignored all red flags.
That's a lot of red flags.
Even on the way to the first date, her car broke. Like her car had broke down. So in a way, it was like the universe's way of telling you, you had no business really going to see this man, but he came and he paid for the car.
But you know what? Maybe, I'm a big believer in everything happens for a reason.
For a reason.
Maybe this is what they both needed. If the man really is schizophrenic, maybe now his family will take charge. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? Maybe he will really get some help. Yeah. Or not schizophrenic, he just wants his family to think he's schizophrenic. Maybe he would stop saying that. I don't know. I didn't watch it. I didn't see the thing, but if he is, then maybe he will get the help that he needs. Yeah. Because, just to like tangent a little bit, mental illness is real. But I was gonna say, when you said the part about just to be in her corner, I can understand that because, when you say like, you know, she admitted that she just wanted somebody to love her. Like, you know what I'm saying? Somebody to be with her, that companionship, that love, that can be very blinding. And it can cause a person to, you know, just be like, wow, that's really crazy. That's so crazy.
Of any
It's
age.
so crazy. They can't be lying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you factor in mental illness, and a mental illness that specifically alters a person's reality. If they believe that this is reality, then they're going to behave that way. And when they speak about it, like people with certain mental illnesses with like that, they could pass a lie detector test because they really believe that. In certain, you know, extreme cases, but you understand the point that I'm making, because
absolutely.
You believe that, you know what I'm saying? That's why people often say like, fake it till you make it, because if you tell yourself that enough, it'll be that. But in this situation, it's a more literal thing. Mm-hmm. And so when you get, like you said, his conviction, like he really was sticking to it, like, no, I'm not lying, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Added in with her, I just want to be loved. He got to be telling me the truth.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like there's a truth hidden. There's a truth hidden. And I literally told myself when I found out that he made up the phone calls, when I tell y'all I stopped listening to the story, walked around the house, I had to take a minute before picking back up my phone, because in my mind I was like, no, she's not telling me right now that he was talking to himself. Because she said that he would get up and have conversations with his brother. First of all, he took the identity. He has a twin.
Okay, yeah, I was about to get it. I did hear had a twin, and he
got a twin.
Stole his twin's life.
So everything his twin was doing, he took.
Twin was profitable?
His twin was wealthy and had a family and
that's
stuff.
Why it was like the schizophrenia. I was like, well, is it true if maybe he's just demented, you know? Like, okay, my brother is the rich one, but
it's me.
But then here's the thing, he's ostracized from his entire family. But he was making it seem like he was calling his big brother every day. She said that he would get up every morning at like 6, I believe, or I'm not too sure on the time, to talk to his brother.
Because maybe if the schizophrenia is real, maybe that was something he did before like they cut him off.
Like he made himself believe that nothing did happen, and he was
and my family still love me. You feel me? I'm still with my family. It's just different now.
Schizophrenia, psych degree here, is, I could Google it, but it's characterized by, if I'm not mistaken, paranoid delusions, right? So when you talk about being delusional, a delusion is like literally a fantasy world, like alternate reality. Like, and a lot of schizophrenics are paranoid. Like they often hear like voices, but I did ask one of my professors that I've known psych, and I was like, is the voice like their, you know, like conscience, that little voice in your head, and they just don't recognize it as their own? And I don't remember if she said yes, but I think the answer was more like, it could be that. It could be that they really just hear a voice that they don't recognize. Maybe it is like their mind, you know, like making up stuff. Who knows? It's no way really to tell on that. But because if you ask them, they're gonna, like, you know how they be like, who is that? Who's there? Like sometimes that's them. Like maybe they thought something, and it's like, you know, like your intrusive thoughts. Like maybe for schizophrenics, it could be that their intrusive thoughts are the voices that they hear telling them to do things. You understand what I'm saying? And because they're living in a delusion, it's like some outrageous stuff, because what they're seeing is not what's really there. You know what I'm saying? Other stuff there.
They're seeing a whole different like side of reality.
I'm delusional. That's all.
It was the red flag Olympics. Like she literally was getting so much red flags. It was insane. It really goes to show you how people's minds also turned during COVID. Like forget Legion for a minute. Us, you know, like it's supposed to show you the effect COVID had.
Look how many babies were born. You know what I'm saying? Like there was a surge in births. A lot of there's a whole generation of COVID babies. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because people were forced inside, and people this was like the biggest social experiment of human existence.
Humanity,
it that way, because what you really could see is like you took away all social interaction.
Yeah.
Whether you live with somebody or not, you cannot go outside and interact with anybody. And if you do, you have to stay at least 6 feet apart, and you got to be masked up.
Yeah.
COVID free, but you can't go outside. So I don't know how you're going to make sure you COVID free, but figure that out, right?
Figure that out.
So then you got people at home alone. Some people don't live with nobody. Some people don't see, some people got stuck outside of home. That would drive somebody crazy. Humans need other people. That's why you have things like times for people who don't like social interaction. Because generally speaking, humans need to be around each other. They need, you know what I'm saying? They need to talk to each other and hold each other and touch each other. Even people who don't like to be touched, sometimes just want to sit next to somebody.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So when you think about COVID, it was like, it just shows you like people need people to really feel, to stay healthy, to be healthy. Sometimes, you know what I'm saying? You need to be able to talk to somebody.
Have you guys ever been, and what have you guys done in situations where your partner has lied to you repeatedly? Like, have y'all ever been with someone who y'all found out lied about more than one thing?
A lot of men just lie, like no reason.
Men lie. You know, I feel like men lie. You know,
too, but yeah, men lie. So you know what I'm saying? It's not to say like, oh, just because he, you know, has much. No, men be lying.
Are we talking like relationships only though, or are we talking like friendships?
we could also include friendships, honestly, because I've been lied to. So when it comes to friendships,
Okay, I don't know. I'm a little deluded in the head. You feel me? I'm gonna be honest. I do put hands, feet, and objects on niggas. So if I could have,
yes.
but after I done that physical harm, I'm leaving. Like, if you're in my space, you gotta go. You feel me? But if I came to you with the situation and I found out, like on your sides, like say I came to your crib and I find out that you lied about something, or I came to your house and I caught you with somebody, then yeah, I'm gonna do what I have to do, and then I'm out, and you will never hear from me, never see me, nothing again. And the world is small, but you will never see me again.
But again, I think what really makes this story, Risa Tisa's story, what makes her story so, I guess what really got everybody was just the fact that one, it was so long. Two, everything happened in the span of 1 to 2 years. You know, like
was it only like a year?
Well, March 2020 going into the end of 2021. Because like that was when she last heard from him. The last time she heard from him was December. I know we jumping all around, y'all, but the last time she heard from him was December of 2021 when he tried to call her office that she had worked at, because she had already moved, so he didn't know where she lived. So it was just a lot, and she had threatened to get a restraining order on him, and I think she never heard from him again after that. They did allegedly expose him on TikTok. They seem to be like pictures of like a man and her from like back then, and it looks like the guy she was describing. So I don't know. And they apparently said that he also tried to do his own tell-all on TikTok or something about the situation.
I don't know. The whole thing is
just crazy.
I truly do wish that she is able to, you know, love herself enough to want somebody, but not want somebody at the expense of, you know, her integrity and things like that.
Yeah.
You know, and because
that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying about the fake friends, you know, like when friends lie to you, at some point throughout all of those experiences, you become a lie detector. You become a bullshit detector.
Yeah.
You know? And that's why everybody's kind of like, girl, like at your age, you should already have been through, done this. Like this should have been food you already cooked, food that's already been on the stove, food that's already been served. Like, why is it that this seems so new for you?
Because people do what they know. So if the relationship in her life with men have been that way for, you know, for as long as she's been dating, then that may be the type of man that she's attracted to because she accepts those things. For whatever reason, she believes that on some level, she may think that, you know, like these things are not so big that I have to leave. We can work through it. It's okay. You know what I'm saying? Or like not even going that deep, but just so much like believing the outrageousness, like believing all the stories, really taking him for his word, even after, you know, like even after you think to yourself, like, wait, if he's the CEO, why you can't get in? And you're still, you know what I'm saying, going along with it and things like that. It's like that must be what you're used to. I don't want to say that, but one can assume that, you know, this is the type of guy that maybe she dates these type of guys who, you know, tell her things and she believes them. And maybe that's why she found herself in a situation. And maybe that's why she's now able to say, I was in a place where, you know, I was just vulnerable and this is what I wanted. And I wanted it so bad that I was willing to put up with all these things.
And it's so crazy that someone was able to easily grapple onto that and take advantage of her vulnerability.
So if he does have schizophrenia, he didn't do it maliciously.
But he did tell her when she asked him why, he did tell her that he felt like he knew that she wasn't going to stay with him if he did not do what he did.
Well, then that's different.
Right out on the phone.
That's different. Like I said, I didn't watch it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just speaking generally. I know I should generally prior to. I apologize to everyone, but that was just my general opinion. You know what I'm saying? If he said that, then that's as clear as day right there.
Would you guys have made the same mistakes being in her place at her age, just being who she was? And did you see where she was coming from for why she made some of the poor decisions that she did?
No. At her, like y'all was saying earlier in the podcast, at her big grown, according to my mother, and her big horse in age, that woman don't know right from wrong. I don't understand what you wasn't seeing. Because me personally, like, I don't know. And then referring back to what Mecca said as well, like, maybe that's just the type of nigga she's used to. Or I'm a big believer on people are a reflection of you. You feel me? Especially that people...
You are what you attract.
All right. So it's like, if you attracting a lying, manipulative... I'm sorry. I'm about to go.
No, but for real, though. For real.
I feel attacked.
No, it's not for you. No, don't feel attacked. Because don't get me wrong, like, when I learned that lesson, that was like a big pill for me to swallow because that hit me.
Wake up call.
That made me because that was around the time where I was losing a lot of friends. So it's like maybe that's how I treat people. You feel me? The way I'm feeling against these people, maybe that's how I treat people, or maybe that's how I come across to other people. And I just had to change the way I act towards people because you feel me? Because I'm not a mean bitch. Like, I'm cool for real. No funny shit. Like, and ask Mecca or ask any of our other classmates, they'll be like, nah, you're mean. But that, I guess that's just the way I come off. But I'm really not a mean person. Like, what mean person want to help people?
Listen, you give me regular New York girl vibes. I don't get a mean vibe.
I'm chilling. Like, I'll be kicking, taking it, bro. Niggas be chilling. Like,
yo, I see where she's coming from. Like I said in the beginning, we all make mistakes. We all are dumb for a man. We all, we all been through some things. Some people just go through worse than others.
I know that at some point the stories didn't add up because there's no way that, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure now she's connecting the dots. Again, I didn't watch it, but it's just at some point, come on. You know what I'm saying? In the beginning, if he's like doing little things to make you think there might be more money somewhere else, you know what I'm saying? Dressing a certain way, driving a certain car, showing you pictures, you know what I'm saying? When you first meet somebody, you don't really know
what's what,
you know what I'm saying? That's what I was going to say in the beginning. In a relationship, you don't really know what the person is like until you get into it. So once they really got into it,
she's
too
moving
grown.
like a bimbo. Like she don't know what the
Yeah,
hell's
you moving
wrong.
like a
what's
young
wrong
girl
with you,
that
babe?
never dealt with no, you know,
We never had a nigga before.
Yeah,
Like, what's up?
to know. Okay, you know what I'm saying?
Yo.
Like she was insecure, and he was the first person to look her way and grasp her little interest. Because obviously, it doesn't take much to.
I just cannot believe, like, and I guess this is me speaking from experience because, as they already know, I got scammed a couple of months ago, which is on an unrelated topic.
Right.
But, like, it's so crazy how people can perceive, like, make you think that something is true.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what really scared me about her story. Like, in watching her story, someone that actually saw the whole thing, I was scared. Like my heart was kind of trembling because I was just like, yo, what is this leading up to? Like she was going so much into detail that you really were, I was building suspense every video. And then when everything just started to lash out and she was just breaking down everything that wasn't true, I felt there was this unsettling feeling in my gut that I felt because in my mind, I was just like, everything he told you was a lie and he made everything sound so true. And at one point, I believed it. I believed it. You know what I mean? Like, I believed that this guy was telling the truth. Like, even in the middle of her story, I'm like, okay, where's this going? Like, it didn't seem like he did anything wrong until we got to part 30. Like, you know what I mean? It was just like, it was crazy. Just the stuff she was thinking. I'm thinking he's just going to be cheating. You know, all them cheat, you know? No, it wasn't even that. The cheating was actually the least of the stuff that he was actually doing. Like, this is crazy. He lied about everything. Like, my trust would have definitely went down after that whole experience.
The Freedom Savage podcast will return shortly. Stay tuned.
Gold's Beauty is a luxury business that sells essential beauty products such as lashes, lip glosses, matte lip gloss, lip scrubs, body scrubs, candles, and jewelry. Don't even let me hold you back. Go ahead and DM at QuayGoldsBeauty _ to get your hand on the products that you need. Do you want to get some locks or need help maintaining locks you have already? Crown Kinks got you covered. Yes, you heard that right. The goddess of locks got you covered. With Crown Kinks, it's your hair, so it's your say. And if you get a little hungry, don't even worry about it. Free snack and beverage refreshments will be provided to you. DM on Instagram at Crown Kinks to discuss pricing, bookings, consultations, and all other inquiries. All is welcome as long as respect is shown to the wonderful at-home business. As a proud client, I can assure you, your hair will be done with great precision and an incredible amount of care. Wait 1 second, we're not finished. Do you want to take home your own lock gel, lock shampoo, and rose water? Soon, Crown Kinks' lock products will be in your hands in no time. Are there any words needed? Tati's Sweet House is open for business, and she makes all types of scrumptious and beautiful baked goods for any occasion. DM Tati on Instagram at Tati _sweet _house to discuss pricing and all other inquiries. Hey y'all, what's up? It's your boy Douglas, or you could call me Freedom. I am proud to announce that my official website is now up and running. Yes, you heard me here. My official website is up and running, freedomsavageentertainment.net. This website took forever, a lot of planning, a lot of creativity. Make sure you guys subscribe to my website for updates on anything that I'm doing, and you guys will still see changes made to it over time. All of the links to all of my stuff is on the website. It's gonna basically be my creative hub, and I can't wait to, show you guys how this empire that I have will develop over time. All right, make sure y'all head to the website because it's definitely giving what it's supposed to. Peace out.
I'm the one that's on the dash. And when they ask who that, he that real big boy with the dress, and he does the music.
Turn on your mics. We're back with the Freedom Savage podcast. All right, you guys, we are in our second segment, Freedom of Speech, Part 2. This is an extension of Freedom of Speech. We're just shifting our gears into a new topic. I feel like this is a topic that never really gets the awareness that it needs, amongst many others regarding Black women. But specifically, is there such thing as medical racism?
I would say yes. I feel like it very much varies where you are, of course, but it's definitely there. Like I've never really experienced. I've experienced working in the medical field. Yes, never out here in New York, but my mom is a nurse, and she tells me all the time, like sometimes, like obviously my mom's a nurse, so her patients have their own doctor. So when their doctor comes and like checks on a wound or something, they'll ultimately like, obviously, yes, it is my mom's responsibility as to like take care of it, but it's like if the patient, it's not like they're in jail, so they have the right to say no. You feel me? Especially if they're lucid. Like if you're a patient that doesn't have any type of brain issues, like no offense, but like nothing like Alzheimer's or dementia, then it's like you are able to tell me if you're continent or not. So it's like if you use the bathroom on yourself and you don't want me to touch you, I'm not allowed to touch you. Right?
Yeah.
You have your own rights. So if a patient has a wound and it's like it looks more infected when the doctor checks it, it's like it's automatically my mom's fault. But it's like if the patient is fighting her physically, like putting their hands on her, like don't touch me, and the patients is a whole different thing. But if the patient is like don't touch me and calling you all types of out of your name and everything like that, I can't touch you. You feel me? Obviously, my mother's not the type to, and I'm just talking from my experience, but my mother's not the type, as am I. I'm not the type to just leave you there sitting in your feces. If you tell me you don't want to be touched, okay, cool, I won't touch you. But if it's going on, like, say you took you had a bowel movement in the morning, and you're like, don't touch me, and I let you eat your breakfast, and now I'm cleaning up the trays. As I'm going through my rounds, I'm going to ask you, can I change you now? And if you tell me again, no, like I'll leave you alone. But
you're going to investigate it because you don't want them to be that way. Yeah.
I'm going to clean you. Like, even if you're hitting me with the sponge and the rag, baby, I'm going to clean you, because I'm not going to sit here and get points on my license because you don't want something done for you that will benefit you. You know what I mean? So, but in the medical field, for me personally, I'm only going to talk about one experience that I had. I was working in the state of Florida, which is a very racial state, where, not to be prejudiced or racist or to come off rude, but white people are very much the majority and Black people are the minority. So a lot of nurses that I was learning from and like working with were obviously not of my race, and they would like say little things, you know, under their breath, or like if I'm changing a patient, if I didn't do it, like everybody learns differently, everybody does things differently. So if I wouldn't do it exactly how they taught me or exactly how the policy would want it, quote unquote, then I would get talked about in the lunchroom, or like when I walk into the lunchroom, it'll get quiet, or like I will have extra supervision while I'm dealing with my patients. And it's like
the microaggressions was just on a million. Like,
you feel me? So
crazy.
It's like, why do you have to watch over me? I already have 15 patients of my own. You obviously have 15 to 20 patients of your own. On top of watching 15 to 20 patients, you're also going to complain to our supervisor about having to watch me. And it's like, I know my job. Obviously, I got my license because I have the credentials and I passed my test. Yeah. So don't come or have to micromanage me, like you said, where it's like I feel like I'm under a microscope or I'm under a spotlight, where it's like now I have to do everything perfectly, where I have to do everything to a T, where it's like if I mess up one time, it's automatically, oh yeah, it's because, you know, she's ignorant or she's the type of person. Like I've gotten that comment where, oh yeah, she just looks like that type of person. And what does my type of person look like?
That's what
me personally, I do the way I come off. For everybody that's watching or listening, I may sound like I come off very aggressive, but just know my code switching is A1. Like my customer service voice is so great, you would think that I'm not the race that I am. You know what I mean? So like if I'm doing my job properly and I'm talking to them properly and I'm not an ignorant person and I'm very much educated, if I know how to talk to a person, why are you still telling me that I'm doing something wrong? Or why do you have to feel like you have to have an extra pair of eyes on me when obviously I know what I'm doing?
Yeah. And just for the people watching out there, that is a New York personality. That is not mean. That is not nothing. That is New York.
Literally, like, I'm chilling, and I will give you the shirt off my back. Like, anybody that knows me, I'm gonna help you out. Like, even and sorry to like make it another story, but like a long story short, like even in school, because we are in school right now, I'm helping people that probably don't even like me. You feel me? Or if it was vice versa, they wouldn't even help
Do
me.
anything for you. Mm-hmm.
Feel me? So it's like, and you don't even have to say you're struggling. Even if I see it, or if like I know something and I see that you're hesitating, I'm not jumping in, or I'm not saying it because I want to be a know-it-all, I want to be a show-off. I'm just trying to help out, you know.
You're
And it's
trying to give you're trying to give your
yeah. And it's like you can't even do that no more without people like pointing the finger or making it
a thing.
bigger. Yeah, making it a thing.
I do think it exists. I am not, as far as I'm aware, I'm not a victim of it. But I can say that due to like the disparity of Black women in healthcare, but particularly Black women when they give birth, Black women are like, I don't know the exact number, but I think we're 3 times more likely to die during childbirth than other women of other races. And that was one of the things that made me scared to have a baby. I don't want to die. Yeah. When I gave birth during COVID, it was like the height of COVID. She could only have, I think, 1 person in the room with her. And, you know, I was very scared for her because she had to have an emergency C-section. And, you know, it was just like, that's essentially like how we end up dying. Complications from emergency C-sections where they're going in, it's a rush job, they're ripping through all those muscles, and they have to pack the wound. It's just a lot. It's a lot that goes into that. And I guess because I'm a mom, that's more where my experience lies. Like, that was the first time that I was hospitalized, I guess you could say. I had never been hospitalized, I had to stay in the hospital for any reason. So for me, it was like, I was paying attention, but I had a Black nurse. My delivery doctor was Indian, and then she was Asian, and it was my OB from the clinic. So I will say that I had a well-rounded team. One of my nurses was Hispanic. I don't remember having any specifically white nurses until I got like to the mommy and me room, and even then, my nurse was West Indian. Like, so for me, fortunately, that was my experience, and still say that I was afraid to be forgotten. I was afraid to be left alone. Like, you know, if I needed help or I was calling, like, you know, that was a big fear of mine, because you do hear all these, horror stories and things like that of just Black women being left after such a major traumatic experience.
I've definitely seen it. I saw a TikTok. I think it was in 2021, 2022, of this girl who actually passed away a little bit after she had her kid. Because the hospital was just ignoring everything that needed to be done for her after the pregnancy and prior to the pregnancy. Like, they weren't listening to how she was feeling. And little did everybody know, she was actually fighting something. I think she had like a clot or infection, but she was being neglected so much in the hospital that no one thought to, you know, actually, I think her baby passed away too. If not just her, I'm not even sure. You know, so it's like, and that was when I saw the TikTok about that, it just seemed like it circulated for a little bit and then it faded into the wind. So you're right.
I think never, it's like it gets some gas and then it just dies out, you know, and we stop talking about it.
Yeah.
But it's something that happens way too often. I think
too often.
What I'll say is that I was hospitalized a little more recently for something, and I don't know that it was because I was Black. Maybe because I was young and Black, a young Black woman, you know what I'm saying? With what I was in there for, I had an ectopic pregnancy, and it ruptured. And so I was in a lot of pain. And I'm not going to say that I almost perished, but I did lose a lot of blood. Like that, like my doctor that did the surgery, she stressed that to me a bunch of times. Like you had almost a whole pint of blood in your abdomen. Like we had to get a lot of blood out. Like I was in the ER for about 3.5 hours and I was bleeding the entire time in pain. And my mom was there. And, you know, we were both like, I was trying to advocate for myself without being like the angry Black woman in the ER. And I think that's where the problem is right there. A lot of times, even when earlier we talked about the racist teacher situation, Black women are forced to pick between two evils all the time for the sake of, I don't want to be the angry Black woman, so I'm going to take this because I don't want to be the angry Black woman, so I'm going to eat this. I sat there in pain for 3.5 hours. And I did not let my mom go crazy because I didn't want to be seen as the angry patient because we're Black women. And that's how you get labeled. Oh, she's just loud and angry. No, I'm in pain. This pain is equivalent to childbirth. That's how bad I was in pain. And so when you talk about like, you know, when we talk about like, it's not talked about enough, it's not. Because even that experience that I had sitting there, again, I don't know that it was a racial thing. I don't know if it was just because they were busy, as they were saying. I do feel that like, you know, things could have been, orders could have been put in. If I'm sitting right in front of you, you know, you could just tackle things off the list. They love to say, oh, there's patients in front of you. There's patients in front of you. I don't work in a hospital yet, so I don't know how that goes. But I just feel like there's an order for things, and an ectopic pregnancy, I didn't even sit. As soon as they called my name and they found out what I was there for, I went straight to the back. Because an ectopic pregnancy at the stage that I was at, once it ruptures, you have a small window before you.
Yeah.
Literally.
It's an urgent situation.
You know what I'm saying? Even the doctor that did the surgery, she said, I don't understand why, you know, what I will say is this. And this might be an unpopular opinion. The doctor that I first spoke to when I first went to the hospital for the treatment that I was going to get for it, he was Asian. And what I explained to my mom is that I could tell he didn't want to push me. He didn't want to push me into something that I was clearly scared to do. I didn't want to get surgery. I was scared of that. Instead of him taking the doctor approach and saying, listen, and he did, but he didn't push. He let me decide which is what they're supposed to do. It's my choice, as you said, as the patient. You know what I'm saying? You're not supposed to go against it. However, you are the one with a degree in medicine, in obstetrics and gynecology, not me. So if I'm scared and I'm telling you that I don't want to get surgery, but you know that if this thing ruptures, I could tell me to get the surgery. Right. Tell me that the option that I'm choosing may be less risky, less scary, but it's more life-threatening. If this thing ruptures, God forbid it ruptures, and you're nowhere near a hospital. Exactly. Luckily, I was at home. I was on my way to the hospital already when it happened. So, you know what I'm saying? Things work out the way they do. But I will say that that's the other side of it, is that because it's known that Black women are treated, forgotten, and not listened to, and this and that, it causes an extreme on both sides. The patients become muted in a way that's like, I don't want to be the angry Black woman, so I'm going to just, you know, take the discomfort. I'm going to eat it. On the doctor side, I don't want my patient to think that I'm not listening to them because they're Black. I don't want my patient to think that I know more than them as a doctor, even though I do. It's your choice. I'm just going to give you all the facts. Whatever you want to do is what you want to do. I can't stop you. Right?
Yeah, lay the cards out on the table for them. I saw, you know, TikToks of just girls even saying, like, you know, a lot of Black women, especially in medical care, their words are not taken as seriously. Their words are not taken seriously. They're ignored. They're demeaned, made to think that they don't know everything because they're not the doctor. As I told my fans and stuff already know, we have a brother that has cerebral palsy. Shout out to Tuna. But you know, mommy literally like she told me the story all the time from when he was born. She knew my mom had something to where she knew she was going to have to get a C-section with him. And the doctors disregarded what she said because they felt like in that moment, they knew more than her. She was a Black woman. Well, you know what I mean? Like, as far as they're concerned, what the hell, you know? And my brother ended up I guess you could say becoming brain damaged during birth. He choked on his umbilical cord and he was born that way solely off of a decision that the doctors made against my mom's suggestion. You know
Right.
what I mean? Which obviously was the logical thing to do. There was not a day that went by that my mom did not sit back and realize like what could have actually happened with Tuna had the doctors actually just listened.
Right. And that kind of goes into like, I know doctors know like the anatomy of the body, but it's like you yourself know your body. Like this is the body you were born with. You feel me? So you know it. That's like if Mecca was to say, oh, like I'm having abdominal pain, like my stomach is killing me. You feel me? For me being a nurse or like being a medical assistant, I could be like, oh, like maybe she has like some type of rupture in her abdominal pain, and for her it's like, oh, I just didn't eat all day, like it's gas. You feel me? But me being like, oh no, like I've actually worked as a CNA. You feel me? You haven't worked in no healthcare. Like I know what I'm talking about. For her, it's like, girl, I did not eat all day. I've been up since 6 o'clock this morning with this baby. I came to school. I went to work. Like, my stomach is hurting because I forgot to eat. And I'm like, no, you probably got like an ulcer or something, baby. Like, something's going on. And it's like, girl, how can I tell you about yourself? You know what you're feeling. You know what's going on. You are 9 times out of 10, you know what occurred for this pain to happen or for this situation. Feel me? A doctor is just giving an educated guess. We get told like 9 times out of 10 if this is what's going on or if this is what the patient says they're feeling in this particular area, this is what it is. But if you know, oh, I bumped into the door too hard, so this is why my right rib cage is hurting. I could be like, oh, maybe she cracked it, like, or maybe she broke her spine and that ruptured the rib. But it's like, no, I just bumped into the wall and it may have ruptured a little bit.
Yeah.
You feel me? It's been a little bruise or it's scratched, so it's hurting. But baby, you can't tell me I cracked my entire rib cage when I'm telling you I literally bumped into the wall.
And she didn't directly say that, but I was gonna give that analogy of a double-edged sword because Mecca did somewhat also mention that earlier with her situation. It's like, when does the doctor have validity and when does the patient?
Right.
Suki, I told y'all, she's been back and forth, so y'all probably will see her pop in or pop out, whatever. And I'm not gonna go into detail because that's her story to tell. But Suki, even last year, was put in a life-threatening position because she was supposed to get an operation at a certain time, and the hospital delayed it a whole week and almost killed her. The doctor even said after she was finally able to get said operation as an emergency, she was in so much pain with this particular thing that she was going back to the hospital each day, and they kept sending her home, kept doping her up with medicine and kept sending her home. And then a whole week later, the pain felt different. She knew whatever was going on had gotten worse. The pain had felt different, and she went to the hospital solely by choice. Solely by choice. And they told her that had she stayed home the night she was contemplating on doing so, but ended up going to the hospital, had she stayed home, she would have. Even the doctor that actually did her surgery, he wasn't even the original team of doctors that were originally working with her. He said, how is it that they sent you home the day of and not tried to operate on you right then and there? Because what she had, thank God she got over, but what she had was a serious thing, and, it really bothered me because it was just like, she was unaware. She was unaware of how serious her case was because no medical professional took the time to talk to her about it and inform her about it in a way to where she can be able to make her own decisions as a patient. Like you were saying, if you're not laid with all the cards, how will you know how to go about things? Then her appointments just to get checkups, not even about the actual operation itself. Her appointment just to get checkups and still needing to know about the operation wasn't until a whole week after she found out what was wrong. And it was just like, where was all the T's were not crossed, all the I's were not dotted. It was a near-death experience, I guess you could really call it. An unnecessary one at that.
I hate and I've experienced this as a patient and as of working in the medical field. I don't like when doctors and nurses discharge you without checking to see if you're okay. Like if you're just like, okay, if you're in a hospital, for example,
Or making sure that your medicine is actually covered by your insurance. I'm sorry.
right? No, because that for real, that's tea. But my thing is, I hate when it's like, okay, for example, say I go into a hospital or I go into a clinic and I'm not feeling so good or whatever, and they're like, oh, it's fine, it'll pass. Like I'm gonna give you a little bit of antibiotics to take care of it, whatever. And I'm like, oh, I'm getting a little hot. And they're like, oh, no, it's just a symptom from what you have. It's like, if my patient tells me as I'm about to discharge them, like, oh, I'm feeling a little hot, I'm getting hot flashes, I'm going to check your vitals before you walk out this door.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure that everything is, according to me, copacetic before you walk out this door, baby.
Yeah.
Like, you're not about to tell me, oh, I'm still feeling a kind of queasy. And I'm like, oh, no, it's okay. Like, I already checked you like 20 minutes ago and you were fine. You feel me? So you could leave. Like, I'll call you back when I feel like, or if you feel anything else tomorrow, then call me. I hate when they say that. Like, baby, I'm feeling it now.
Right.
Let me tell you something. That depends on because the hospital near me, there is no such thing as calling anybody because it's a maze to get to any department, anything. You're on the phone for hours until you're actually able to speak to someone. And then the person that you're actually speaking to can't really even do anything, for you. So calling hospitals is a maze. Calling hospitals is a maze. It's a maze.
I've experienced that when sorry to cut you off again.
No, you're fine.
But, when actually it has to do with our school, we had to get physicals for school, and I went and I got my physical done. I got my shots and everything that I needed and everything like that. And they were just waiting for my blood work to come back, and it's like even simple shit like that, like they can't call you back and communicate with you, and I hate that because I had to call. It took like my professor, Dr. Chester, it took him to like email me twice and text me for me to be like, all right, I have to call about my blood work because they're not letting me know anything. And then when I'm calling them, like you said, nobody can help me. Like I'm asking to speak to my doctor and they're like, oh, she's with a patient right now. And I'm like, okay, well, can I speak to the nurse that I went to? And they're like, oh, well, that nurse isn't always with that doctor because she's with a different agency. So I can't really let you talk to her because this week you're not her patient. Okay, but last week I was. So she knows what I'm talking about.
I don't even hear no shit like that. What is that?
You feel me? Like regardless of if she's changing patients throughout the week, I was her patient last week. So she knows what I'm talking about.
Provided you care.
Yeah. So it's like if I'm calling to speak to my caretaker, you feel me, or any of my caretakers, it should not take them 4 times to be like, okay, give me 2 minutes, and then putting me on hold for me to talk to my caretaker. And then even then I didn't get to talk to her because I ended up like I got really frustrated. I'm not gonna lie. And as Micah said, I didn't want to seem as like the angry Black woman. So I just excluded myself from the equation. You feel me? I simply just told her like, I thank you for your help, even though you didn't help me at all. You feel me? Whatever you do in that hospital, I'm sure you do it well, but you didn't help me at all. But I appreciate what you did. And I'll just come in tomorrow and see what she has to say. And then she was like, oh, well, she's very busy. I will come in early tomorrow.
To what? Yo, for real.
She will see me because I promise you, even if she start walking out her office, like, good night, everybody, I'll see you tomorrow. As she's walking to her car, I'm walking with you. Because, baby, where's my blood work? Like, what's going on?
Yeah. And that should be something that gets back to you as soon as possible. And if you can't do it, like, it's hard because I know doctors are supposed to only, like, there's so much policies involved. I know, like, with HIPAA and stuff, like, they can be the only ones to share stuff like that with you, not nobody else. But you as a doctor should be able to make, they always teach us in school time management. So I don't know what the hell be going on in these hospitals. In high school, that was the biggest thing in high school. College, even now, they keep telling us time management. But when you get in these spaces, it's mayhem, especially in emergency rooms. Forget about it. It's mayhem.
It's like, how called the emergency room and I can't come to you in an emergency because I can't never get a call. Unless
you literally have passed out or gotten like, there's no.
I have a better chance of making an actual appointment with my physician than going to the emergency room for any type of pain. I went to an emergency room one time and stayed there probably like 6 hours before anybody came out to call my name. And I was throwing up, like pain, like hunched over, laying on my mom, throwing up on her. And it took them about 4 to 6 hours to come out before they even came out and called my name to see what I was in there for.
Yo.
The emergency room. I just feel like that should be all hands on deck.
At that point.
Literally called the emergency room. Everybody should be there. That's where all the emergencies come. So, yeah, it's a lot.
Because, doctors talk, people talk. And I've always heard situations where family members may have walked by these two nurses, and these two nurses were discussing someone's case. Like, that's some scary stuff, especially when it's concerning someone you love that's in a predicament or if they're in the hospital. I'm not going to lie, after my mom passed, my fear of hospitals, my dislike for hospitals grew to the max. My fear of hospitals grew to the max. I hate hospitals with a passion, just the environment. It's really one of the worst places to be ever. Like, again, if you're a professional and it's something that you want to do, you guys are in a lane where you would be doing it to help people,
Right.
making it a place to where people know that they're going to be cared for, which is great. But if you're going in as a patient, it's a worse environment. It's a horrible environment to be in. I hate the beeps. I hate just the patients that are kind of going a little crazy and going on rants because they want to be seen. It's like, because even if some of them may have validity to what they're doing, it's adding hysteria, it's adding mayhem to the environment. It's already offsetting a lot of people who are probably already emotionally not there because they're not well. Hence why they're in a hospital in the first place. So the environments are just always a zoo. It's always compact. The machines, the monitors, just from my mom passing, I know that I hate those monitor shits. The ones with the like I can't see those for the life of me. Like, I don't like seeing people hooked up to those. I don't like nothing. Big fear of ventilators. Huge fear of ventilators. It's such a horrible environment that everything needs to be treated with care, especially Black women. Like, what do you guys feel like can be done to make situations like Black women receiving healthcare and just like the healthcare, I guess, healthcare environments in general better? Like, what do you guys feel like are possible changes that can be made?
I feel like we need more Black doctors. We need
more Black doctors.
I was about to say
Yeah,
a
we
lot
need
of
more Black
we need more
doctors.
diversity in
healthcare.
in healthcare. Yeah, like
I was telling my friend that Black people need their own.
I'm talking about like
yes,
the
if
board,
we had
the
like our
hospital
own
board,
male practice,
the
because I'm not gonna lie, like there is a lot more, and like I said earlier, not to be racist or prejudiced or anything, but there's just a lot more that Black women go through as far as our skin type. And like, don't get me wrong, there obviously, like, I wouldn't say like there's, how can I put this?
I get exactly what you're trying to say. Black women, the Black women have just go through a little bit more scientifically.
Yes, we do. So it's like our blood types and our muscle mass and like our the pigmentation in our skin, like everything about us is just different. So if we had like our own practice, or if there was like, and not to go back into like segregation times where it's like only Black people could go there, no. But if there was like an office, or there was a lot more establishments like peer centers, hospitals, where there was like majority, like I wouldn't say only Black, but like diverse in culture, diverse in race and everything, then everybody would get cared to the way that they need to. You feel me? And it wouldn't be like I prefer a Black doctor because I'm a Black patient. No, I just feel like if it's a diverse team, everybody would get a little bit of understanding of everybody's different cultures and races. So it's like, even if I am a Black doctor with like a Jewish patient, I know how to converse with you. I know how to respect your religion and everything that you're going through.
And still attend to you.
Yeah, you feel still, yes, exactly what you guys are saying. Still treat you accordingly, still attend to you, and give you the best care that you can get, even if I'm not a Jewish doctor, you know what I mean, or vice versa. If I'm a white doctor with a black patient, I can understand from a certain point of view what you're going through or what's going on with you. You feel me? And then what's going on with just like our race and our culture, where it's like I can tend to you emotionally the right way and like physically and everything like that. You feel me? I feel like that would be great. So yeah, that's my answer.
Kind of impossible to ask, but we need it to be more down to earth. Because while we can say that, you know, black women, black people in general, there's a certain thing that certain cultures are not going to do. Right?
Yeah.
Like cultures, you know, restrictive cultures that are just very different from Western life, you know, those things matter. And it matters, you know, how you approach certain people, how you speak to them, what you say to them, what you suggest. And to me, I think that just, you know, the healthcare system, even though I do want to be a doctor, like the healthcare system in a lot of countries, especially America, is a big scam. It's a money making machine. The sicker you are, the more money they make. And so a lot of times, like the hospital is not a place where it's not always preventative medicine. That's what your primary care doctor is for. That's preventative medicine. You go for a routine checkup and you go screening and this and that. And your doctor tells you, well, you should eat right and blah, blah, and all that stuff. That's preventative care. They're not telling you that's the double-edged sword thing popping up again. People always say, oh, the doctors, they just want to program you and they just want this. No. According to this generalized chart, yes. If you are this much pounds or kilos or whatever, and you're this tall, and you're this age, and you're this sex, and you are and all these things, you should be this weight so that you can operate at optimal performance level.
Yeah.
Health is wealth, essentially, but exercise, eating right, being healthy, whatever your healthy is, that's preventative medicine. Doctors pushing that. You know what I'm saying? Instead, healthcare is you go to the doctor and the doctor's telling you, you're telling the doctor, I feel this way. And the doctor's telling you, oh, it's this, it's just this. It's nothing. It's this. Well, I'm going to give you medicine. Well, I'm going to give you this. Or like in Suki's case, they're ignoring her. She's telling them, I'm in pain. Oh, you'll be okay. You'll be okay. Like, are you listening? Right. Are you listening to your patients? Like, you understand what I'm saying? In healthcare in general, it needs to be more about like patient-centered care. It's not centered on the patients. It's about who pays, who this, who that. You know what I'm saying?
I've come across my fair share of doctors who were so consumed with their egos, so consumed with, I studied this. I went to school these years, especially the ones that like had 30 years experience, and this was like their 40 years year at like residency and stuff like that. They feel like they are next to God when it comes to taking care of people. So how dare you, especially being a minority, say, hey, well, I understand all of that. Just because you've been doing something for years on end doesn't necessarily mean that one, it's going to work for everybody, because everybody's bodies is different, especially Black women's, but it's also kind of like, for example, if I say, can I at least get an x-ray on this because I know how I'm feeling? I shouldn't hear a no automatic because you're a doctor. You already know nothing's wrong. Right. At the end of the day, you're not my body. I know what I feel. You can be the doctor all you want, and you can have walls of certification. Nobody's negating your work. Hell, I'm asking for your advice because of said work. You know what I mean? So there's no need to throw your ego in my face or to throw your accomplishments in my face unless you feel like that trumps taking care of me.
Right. To add on to what Michael was saying with like to help the healthcare world or whatever you would want to call it, I would say like she said, doctors being more down to earth with being empathetic. We literally learned that in school, that we're supposed to be empathetic with our patients, right? And I'm laughing and smiling because you get into anybody that's watching out there, listening out there, if you've ever worked in the medical field, they are not empathetic, sympathetic. They don't give a rat's ass. They don't care how you're feeling. Okay? They're not going to sympathize with you. They're not going to hold your hand to comfort you. They're not doing none of that. So it's like, what are we learning this for? And who's really applying this? Because at this point, if you guys are teaching us this now, I'm pretty sure you had to teach this before. So if you're teaching us this now and nobody's doing this before, how do you expect people to grasp onto this knowledge now and actually apply it? Don't get me wrong. Me personally, I know that I can't be, I want to be a doctor. Don't get me wrong. I want to have my doctorate. But I know that it's going to be hard for me to be a doctor because I'm the type to sit down and cry with my motherfucking patients. If I have to tell you you have cancer, God forbid, you feel me, or heavens forbid, universe forbid, whoever believes in whatever, not to be disrespectful against whoever believes in whatever. But yeah, God forbid, like, I have to tell you you have cancer and you have like 3 weeks to live. Bitch, I'm finna sit here and cry with you because I don't know how to, I don't know how to give you that news. You feel me? So it's like,
I don't know how to give you that news and then go home at night happy.
And go home at night and sleep peacefully. Like, I don't know that you're about to die. And like, I have a set date on when you're gonna die. You feel me? Like, I can't even sit here and tell you that. Like, the way I'm breathing right now, I can't tell somebody that now. And I'm learning how to be into medicine. So it's like,
just because you're a doctor doesn't mean that you're going to be less of a human being.
Exactly. So when they teach us, like, and they teach us to be empathetic, but to also be distant with our emotions because we can't show that type of like weakness, quote unquote. Because if I start crying now, you're thinking in your head like, "Oh, this is worse than what I thought."
This is worse than what I thought. Yeah, I do understand having to. I do understand having to like manage the emotions to an extent.
Exactly. That's what I mean. And it's like, and don't get me wrong, I love this teacher of mine, so I'm not gonna say his name, but one of our doctors, he is like a robot, okay? That man does not show no emotion. And it's like, he's a great teacher, don't get me wrong. He's a great doctor. But he'll like when he's explaining stuff to us, when we're like for instance, Mecca asked him a question on Friday and she was like, oh, like if this happens and whatever, like what's the best? And he's like, oh, there's nothing to do after that. They're dying. And it's like, damn, like you have no, yeah, like you have no soul, or like
last thing I want to do is be a patient. Like that's crazy.
Like I would never want to come to you for any type of work because it's like
if this happened.
He told us how many death certificates he signed in his line of work. And he had no emotion behind that because it's like he signed so many. And it's like, for me, my hand will be trembling every time I'm signing one because it's like I'm literally certifying that you're gone. And I can't deal with that. Like, me personally, I have a lot of emotions. One being an emotional person, and two being a woman. I have a lot of emotion. So it's like, I can't sit here and tell you that you're about to die, beloved, or I can't tell you that you have a detrimental disease where it's like you can live up to 5 months and that's it. Like,
and even what you were saying, sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good. I
feel like Black women, first of all, what you said about emotions, because you just brought up something that my neighbor told me. Mm-hmm. Black women specifically, you guys are way more in tune with the earth than people like to, make
for sure.
Way more in tune. That's why when something goes wrong, you always hear that one Black woman say, I got a gut feeling something was going to happen. I said it.
Do I not be saying that? I'm telling you.
I'm telling you.
I know. I be knowing.
Yes. Like, you guys can foreshadow something happening with their emotions. I want to help people heal and be happy and feel better with entertainment and music. I can't be a doctor because I don't like the physical act of having somebody's life in my hands. I'm not really one of those people that faints when they see, but if I see something too nasty, like doing your surgery or something.
Okay, pause. I'm sorry, this is a little off topic, but just because you brought up music, I was literally telling your sister this earlier, and Mecca, tell me if I'm wrong. When we were walking to her house, I literally said, yo, I followed your brother and I saw that he does music. And I love that because if I'm being honest, if I wasn't into medicine, I would do something in performing arts because I dance, I sing, I act, like I do anything that has to do
you
with
do it all. You the full
I
package.
do music. This was the first tattoo I've ever got. It's an EKG with a treble clef because I love any type of music. Any type of music. It doesn't matter what it is.
All types. Yeah.
I can get down with any music. I play instruments. I sing. Like I love it all. So if I wasn't into medicine, like healing people,
Would have definitely did.
I would have doing something in performing arts. So I love that you do that, and shout out to you for doing that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes, I just, I feel like there's best ways because at the end of the day, I do believe in laughter being the best medicine, and just happiness being the best medicine because I feel like it's also what helped prolong my mom for so long. Just the fact that she was able to have those nights where she told her cancer, you don't own me. And that you're not here, you're not a factor, and I feel like when she disregarded it in that sense, it allowed her to live as long as she did, without the need of having a doctor telling her anything. Because at the end of the day, doctors, like you said, are only making educated guesses. They're not God. They're not the universe or whatever you guys believe out there. They don't have the final say, at the end of the day. They're not, listen to them. Definitely, like I said, definitely check on your health, especially if you're a woman.
Yeah, take in their advice for sure. But
know that it's not the end all be all. It's not concrete.
Yeah.
It's not concrete. But you guys, we could be here for hours talking about this.
No, for real, because we can get into it, baby.
Because this was amazing. We talked down. Like, honestly, I want to say thank you guys so much for joining. And Suki, thank you so much for joining. I know she had a lot going on. The girl is busy. But yeah, thank you so much, you guys, for joining. And you guys, like I said, stay tuned and definitely stay on the
I can't wait to come back.
There's a difference between hearing and listening. You get it. A passion, a spirit, a devotion. We're making magic. Come on and talk when you got the time. Freedom, what you wanna learn. We wanna hear from you. You got it going. Let your voice shine. Platform yours is not just mine. We wanna hear.